Chat Love Clark. Now, back to these little debate questions. Now, as far as his Donald Trump's lawsuit with these people that he won, that they were suing him and a lot of other firms over what they call discrimination, because he would not. He had they were trying to say he had a policy, and his buildings he was renting. Okay, his policy was not to rent to African Americans, and his employees knew that. Okay, now he didn't deny that, but the thing he should have said or could have said was basically, and which was the truth, and it shouldn't be considered racist because it's his target market. Get it? His target market wasn't African American community. He was building up a white community. Now, when black people, African Americans, go out and build up their community, are they shamed for it? Are they considered racist? If they don't want to let some white people in their neighborhoods, although the whites usually tend to not want to be in black neighborhoods, it's usually the opposite. The blacks want to be in the white neighborhoods. But the point is, the fact is, these people that they're talking about now, it's very racial, actually. And she's trying to smear him for trying to build a white community and keep riffraff basically out of his apartments. Certain standard, that he wanted to keep maybe. And maybe he was hesitant to invite people with such high criminality. And he actually is not afraid to look at the numbers. Okay? But the point is, maybe it was just his target market was not African American. Hey, look. You've got restaurants says refuse to serve anyone. Okay? Why can't you do same thing with apartments? Okay? Or whatever. Where people live, that you let people rent. Okay? Same thing. So it's a target market. So his target market was not African Americans. You blame him? Do you care? What's it matter? He made some money off of these apartments, and he wasn't building the African community. Is there a crime in that? Is there a crime that he did not want the African community? He was building a white or a non-African community. Okay? Put it that way. Is there a crime in that, really? Because he had a target market, and his target market wasn't African American. That's the bottom line with it. The African American was not his target market, and that's what he kind of should have said. But then that would just raise all these other questions. But that's the real truth. Target market wasn't the African American, and he didn't want the riffraff. He wanted the rich white people. Apply only because the fact that, he doesn't want that criminality going on. He doesn't want the chance of it, see? Smart thinking, knowing that raises the standard to a certain level where people feel more secure, unlike the Asian lady, Chung Lee, okay, or whatever her name was, that was shared by Tommy Sotomayor, who was just throwing bullets at these black guys. She killed one or two of them. One, I'm not sure if it was one or two. Anyway, one of them died, and they came in her house and tried to invade her house in space, and she called the 911. The 911 acted stupid, so she took care of the business herself. Before the police could arrive, she handled her business, okay? That's why we need strong gun laws that protect guns, not discriminate against guns and take away, because the gun made her safe. That proves it. And it wasn't a white against a black, it's an Asian against a black. So they could not profile it the way they like to by saying, oh, another white person killed the black people. Yeah, and also, don't you notice most of these issues are over, these people are criminals that get killed. Okay? If they say get killed, are criminals, first of all. And they're usually in a criminal act. Over half of them probably. Most of them, more than half of them probably, are actually committing criminal acts when they get killed. So, you know, it is the black community's responsibility to stop all the criminality and be aware and start to distinguish right from wrong, because the numbers show that, you know, like I keep repeating over and over, the numbers show that there's a higher crime rate amongst the black community. That's why you see all the riffraff of that's why, you know, you got to look at it from the point of view of, it's not being racist, it's being selective, because they want to select certain people. Okay? Target market. It's not racial. It's not really racial. It's a target market. And there's a certain standard that maybe these people that are target market want to uphold. And one of these standards is they do not want to invite African American community, which usually when you invite African American community, the crime rate goes up. Is known. So, hey, you know, you can't blame the guy for wanting to have a higher standard for his community. Okay? And when the blacks are building up their communities, you don't hear anyone complaining about them being racist. Alright? So, seems like they're not even building theirs up right now. They're just burning them down and causing chaos and more taxpayer money and all this stuff, and cops' lives and all this stuff, police officers and sheriffs and you know, innocent people. And they calling these protests are not protests. Okay, because they're rioting and they're looting and they're pillaging, plundering, and they're killing. I wonder how many people how many people has been killed by this. Haven't they killed people already? I mean, remember, you know, the LA riots with Rodney King. They were killing white people in the streets, stomping their heads and stuff. Okay, so I wonder how many numbers. I don't know. I'm curious what that number is. Has there been any killed? Or do they report that to us? Maybe they don't report that part. I'm interested in knowing the fact of that. Anyway, anyone that can come up with the fact of that, let me know. Hit me up. I'd appreciate that. You guys, please start helping me thumbs up the videos so I can, and like or whatever you want to call it, and subscribe to the channel, because you know I'm unscripted, and I like to keep it that way, because most of the time raw and unscripted is where truth comes, and there's also healing. If you can't just be honest the way you feel, put it out on the table, and always have to be PC correct, there's never a place where people can put their honesty out on the table and then compare the two and say, okay, I can respect your honesty, you respect my honesty, I can respect you, you respect me, and I can agree to disagree with you, but have respect for you, and then walk away. But we don't have to have this criminality anymore, okay? This division. It doesn't have to be this way. But they choose it. They choose it. They choose it because, well, part of it's brainwashing, you know. But we're not going to go into that, okay? Because everyone's been programmed. Everybody's been programmed, and you know, the Book of Revelation says that you know, everyone will be deceived, even if possible, God's very elect. Okay. Love you guys. Love. All right.